Hello, everybody. It's Heather.
And hello, it's Deb.
It
Oh,
is reluctantly woo woo. Yeah, we like to toggle back and forth, like who does an intro, and sometimes we forget. But it's reluctantly woo woo, episode 15. Take it away, Deb.
yes, it's perfect that we just fumbled our intro there because what we're going to talk about today is rest. We're both just coming back from, if you're following along, because I know we have like so many followers, right? We skipped last week because we were both on vacation. So
Yep.
We thought it would be a great time for us to talk about why rest matters and also why rest matters in your healing and your energy work. Because I think we all know that, but we don't all practice it. So anyway, we'll dive into, this is Reluctantly Woo Woo. If you're new with us, the reason that we're calling it that is because we dive into all of those topics that are, considered a little woo woo. So we would say that's the stuff that's a little bit inexplicable. You don't really know why it works, but you just see that it works and you trust that it does. And the reluctantly piece is because that's how we both kind of landed here, is a little bit of resistance and finally some allowance. And here it is. So we'll dive into rest. And obviously that's, we can talk about vacations and stuff like that. But I think what's really interesting as it relates to what we typically talk about is why, for anyone that's experienced the energy work with either one of us, after a session, we'll always tell you need some time to process this. So I'll let you dive into that, Heather, as to what exactly that processing is and why that's necessary after an energy healing session.
Yeah, and I apologize to anyone. My puppy hears some other dogs out there and I can't get him to stop barking. So I apologize in advance for that. So processing. So when you do energy work, basically what is happening is your body is all being rearranged. Your energetic body is being rearranged. And let me even take a step back from there. So we have our physical body. That's what we see, right? And that's what we can all really relate to. But when you look at your physical body, if you go and put it under a microscope, at the very core of it is these atoms, and those atoms are space, right? And that space is just energies and frequency. And again, the logical person, and I don't even know if it's logical, the skeptical person in me is always like, this stuff is ridiculous. I say it and I'm like, it doesn't make sense. This is just, it is what it is. Metal is just metal. There's no energy in it, but there is, because that's the way it works. Even though I'm skeptical, that's the way it works. And so when everybody understands massage, right, and body work, you manipulate the physical body. Well, energy work is using energy and intention to manipulate the energetic body, right? And so when we're rearranging the energy in the body and we're reconnecting connections that have been disconnected and renewing communication with areas that used to be blocked, right? It's like that body is getting braces and things have to be shifted and changed. And so, or another way to think of it is if you had a physical tumor removed from the body, we all know that there's a time of rest, right? So that the body can heal itself. And it's the same way when we release a trapped emotion or a trauma from the body, right? Your body, your energetic body needs time to oh, what's this space here? What do I do with this now? Who am I going to be now? Right? And so it needs time just to acclimate to that new space, right? So whenever I do energy work on people, Deb, I always ask.
Doorbell is ringing. 1 second. I got
okay. Well, I'm gonna keep talking while she's checking her doorbell, and I'm gonna make a comment just because when she moved, it looks like, and she's gonna laugh. I'll say this, but it looks like she has sex swings behind her, but they're not. They're yoga swings. Although it could be fun to make them sex swings, I'm sure, but they're yoga swings. Anyway, so. When I work on somebody, we'll ask them at the end, how long does it take the body to process? And it's basically, how long does the body need to rest before we can do new work? Just as if you were on an operating table and the surgeon just sewed you up, your body had a level of inflammation at that point. And the surgeons know that they can't go back in and operate on your physical body until that inflammation is down. And so processing time is all just how much does the body need before all that processing goes down, before we can go back in and do energetic surgery again. So that's why I always ask if we can, how much time does your body need to rest? We talked about your sex swings too while you were gone.
This is the yoga trapeze, everybody.
I know.
Yeah. I'm moving soon, and I swear to God, I have put into my intentions, I will be looking for a space with a beautiful background. That won't be my yoga room.
It's all good. It's all good. It would be all good if they were sex swings too. Yeah. So, do you want to talk about like some of the common symptoms of processing and what people should expect when they're going to processing, like releasing emotions?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I kind of came in and you were talking about it, but sometimes I think it is. It's similar to when you're healing from a physical injury or physical surgery. You will feel perhaps a bit tired, sluggish maybe. I know what I have heard from people and what I've experienced is sometimes when we release those trapped emotions, you kind of feel those particular emotions for a little bit. You feel that stirring. And so I always share with people, don't be alarmed when that happens, because I think sometimes they might be like, well, what the fuck? I thought we were helping this. So for a day or two, you might feel almost like it's worse or something, kind of like your colds always have to get much worse before they get better. So God, I'm like out of breath because I sprinted to get that. It was more stuff coming for my daughter's birthday. I forgot there was one more piece there to it. So that's
nice.
Cool. Yeah, I think, and also like, you know, the emotional roller coaster that you'll be on, I think with the energy healing, sometimes it does just, I don't know, you kind of go ups and downs with it. So that I would, share with people that that's part of the process. So maybe try to embrace it when it happens.
Right.
Good, I'm healing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, and I'll say this 1,000 times, right? It's like whenever you're feeling what you're feeling, to first remember that what's coming is going. If it's coming up out of you, it means it's moving out. You have to decide whether you're going to let it move out or you're going to put the brakes on and be like, nope, I don't like this feeling. I don't want to feel it. And then shut down. And then that just diminishes the work that we just did because we were working to move those things out, right? So what's coming is going, and it may not always be pleasant. Right? Like your body may experience, I yawn a lot when I do work on people. And when I have work done on me, I oftentimes yawn a lot. When I do ayahuasca ceremonies, I yawn a lot, a lot. Burping is a sign. Sometimes I've had clients be like, I got to go to the bathroom. Like I literally got to go, especially if we're releasing stuff from the stomach or the colon. And that doesn't always happen, but it has happened before where I've had people be like, I'm just going to put the phone down and go to the bathroom and you just keep working on me. Right. Cause it's like literally moving that stuff out. There's one other thing that so when it comes up to what I always say is that to remember that what's coming is going, and to first just acknowledge like, oh, I'm feeling really angry right now. And I don't understand because we just released anger. So why am I feeling angry? But just acknowledge like I'm feeling the anger. Right. So that's the first A. And the second A is just accept it. Like I'm angry and it's okay that I'm angry. Right. All angry is just energy in motion. Right. And then just allow the space for that anger to be there or whatever that is. So I call it the AAA method. I've literally had clients be like, oh my gosh, it's a miracle. Like when you actually do it, like it passes so much faster.
It does. Yeah. Or I've even told people, if you have the space or the opportunity, go in your room, close the door, scream into a pillow, go to your car and go and drive and yell, whatever it is to just let it out. Somehow helps. Those rage rooms are probably a good outlet if you have one.
I know we do. I haven't been to one. I don't get rageful very often, but I will definitely go the next time I do.
I say that too, and then I guarantee if I've been wanting to go, but then they all kind of closed for COVID. I think they're open again, but I'd probably say that, and I'd be the person in there that once I start, I'm like, oh my God.
Right? You're like, oh my gosh, Heather, we have more work to do.
Exactly.
Oh man. For anybody who's watching, if you haven't seen us before, this is Charlie, my little puppy. And I know that sometimes I look like that crazy dog lady, and that's okay because look at that face. He's just
he is cute.
Yeah, man. So acknowledge, accept, and allow is really one of the best things that you can do to help processing. And another thing is also drinking a lot of water, because water, your body, water conducts energy. And for anybody who's seen Frozen 2, if you haven't, it's like such a phenomenal movie. Like when we were on vacation last week, my nephews, they're like, I did not want to watch this. And we were like, okay, we'll go watch it in the other room. But then they came in and watched it and like, they loved it, you know, like so good.
That was the first one.
Yeah. But, you know, Olaf, you know, goes around and he's like, water has memories. I'm like, yes, it so does. Right. So drinking water helps your body to move things along faster. And also when we release emotion, sometimes you can get like this hangover type feeling. And it's because you're dehydrated, just as when you're hungover from drinking alcohol, right? The alcohol takes the hydration from your body. So you may get like a low grade headache, feeling like heavy and foggy. You may just like we talked about before already, just wanting to rest, but water, like hydrate. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to hydrate right now.
Right. Yeah. This is my water with like hibiscus. I brew hibiscus in it. You know, because anything that you can put in it to add some minerals back in, I think helps too.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. So we covered all the physical stuff like fatigue and hangover type feelings, and sometimes the symptoms can worsen, and like flu and cold like symptoms, and then we cover the emotional symptoms of sometimes you may cry, sometimes you may like then feel happy and be like, oh, it's all over the place. I often get people who are like, oh gosh, like I had a breakdown. And I'm like, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Right? Yeah. Stuff's moving out. I have a client who, I had to give him something to entertain him. I have a client who I'll work on her, and I've worked on her son. And when she and I are on the phone, she just cries and cries and cries like the whole call. And then her son typically will get physically sick for a day, like cold, like sick for a day. And so we all process completely different. Right. Oh, and one other one is you may have crazy dreams.
That one I've experienced for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wake up and you're like, what the F was that? You have no idea what that was. And it's just that your subconscious is working to move things out. Mm-hmm. So the why it happens is because you're moving toxins out of your body. And just like if you've ever done a physical detox, like a juice cleanse or anything like that, a couple days in, usually a lot of people, if they don't realize this, they're like, I'm done. I feel worse eating healthy than I did when I ate crappy. Right? And it's because you're eating healthier foods and it's pushing all the toxins out of your body. Well, as they're moving out, you're going to feel them.
Right.
Right. So it's called, some people call it a healing crisis. I don't like necessarily say crisis, right? But it's just a healing experience.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. So what to do when processing? We talked about drinking water. What are some of the other things that people can do when they're processing and after having some energy work?
Well, I think I don't know if this counts as a do for a lot of people, but definitely be compassionate with yourself. So practice that same compassion. I know that I say this a lot, I guess, but when you hear the self-talk coming up, the stuff that you're like, oh God, why am I feeling worse? Or God, whatever that crap is. If you wouldn't talk to your best friend that way, don't talk to yourself that way. So be kind and compassionate to yourself, and even with your thoughts. I would say also, light movement can help move that stuff through too. Obviously, we're talking about rest, so I'm not saying go out and run 5 miles or anything like that, but maybe a very gentle yin yoga class. I mean, I'm always going to promote the yoga, I guess, but that's helpful. I know for a lot of people, especially when we're working on emotions, if you can do hip stretches or things where they tend to get lodged right in there. And if that stirs things up more, again, back to the allowing of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. But I think movement, particularly for me, I know personally, but for a lot of people I know, helps. It's movement, right? It's moving the energy through. So, and meditations, breathing exercises, those are always excellent, whether you're healing or not, but those are great ways to help move your energy around and promote the healing process.
Yeah. And there's a song by a guy named Trevor Hall, and it's called "You Can't Rush Your Healing." You can't rush your healing. I think that's the title of it. Have you ever heard it?
I don't know. Maybe I have, but I don't know it by the name.
Oh man. So, okay. in 2018, I had gone to Rhythmia, which is a place in Costa Rica, to do ayahuasca, which is plant medicine. That really is a deep dive, right? And I've talked about this many times before. And I expected, like, I was going to do this deep work and that I would come back and be like what I call shit and sprinkles. And I came back and I was like a wreck, like an emotional wreck. Like every day I'd wake up and just want to die. And literally, I remember talking to one of my best friends and I called her and I was like, she's one of those people that has, we've been friends since 2006, and she, has known who I've been over the course of these years. And I was like, I think I'm going to go drive down to the beach. This was like January. I was like, I'm going to go drive down to the beach and I'm going to go surfing, and the water's freezing. And I was like, and I'm either going to drown from freezing to death, or because I'm so exhausted and I just won't be able to swim, because I wasn't getting sleep. I was just struggling. And I was like, I'm saying this out loud so that I won't do it. Right. But I was like, that was the state that I was in. I literally wanted to die. And I was like, I just did all of this deep healing work. Like, what the heck? Like, I'm supposed to be like light and, fantastic. Oh my gosh, it was so hard. And I had to work with some more energy healers and do work. We've talked before about the 5 bodies: our physical body, our emotional body, our energetic body, our spiritual body. What am I missing? Mental body. Okay, I had to look on those and see what was doing to contribute to me feeling this way. But I was in the funk for a couple of months. And it wasn't until I let myself be okay and just be gentle with myself that I was moving a lot of stuff out. Because healing is, and that song, you can't rush your healing. I would just listen to it on repeat over and over and over. I was like, I just have to sit with this, right? Because there really is there's a lot of great nuggets in the darkness. And if we're living in the positive vibes only place, there's not going to be a lot of growth, right? You have to be willing to go into the darkness. And Joseph Campbell, if you've never seen the movie Finding Joe, Joseph Campbell talks about, he has a quote that says, "The cave you feared to enter holds the treasure that you seek."
Yeah.
And if you think about caves are always dark. I don't know of any cave that's light. Right. Unless it has a hole in the top and the sun's shining through, right? But most caves, you're going down and it can be dark for a little bit. And so you have to just let it be that you're going through that. Acknowledge, accept, allow. Sometimes that shifts things fast, and sometimes you just got to be in it for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that goes back to kind of trusting the process too.
Mm-hmm.
And that rest is where you can, I like what you said there, because in those moments, that's where you kind of have to pause and reflect. That's where the real learning is happening, when you're like, holy shit, what is this trying to tell me? And so when you take that time to rest and be quiet with it, instead of, like you said, trying to push it away or avoid it or stay so busy that you're not feeling it, you're not facing it, then if you're avoiding it, you're not helping it heal. So,
right.
Yeah. I like that. So, that also relates to the idea of, just in general, the idea of rest. I mean, for business people, people that work a lot, you can't just be powering through. You cannot expect that you will be your most productive, high performing self when you never take a break. It just doesn't work that way.
It doesn't. And I didn't think of this before, but I'm going to share this now. I have this book. It's called Magic of Thinking Big. Have you read this?
No.
It's a great book, but it was written in, where's my glasses? It was written in, it's David Schwartz, and it is copyright 59 and 65. But you can see I have well, you can't see actually. Anyway, I have bookmarks, and I share this with my clients all the time. It says, President Eisenhower was once asked at a news conference why he took so many weekend vacations. His answer is good advice for everybody who wants to maximize his creative ability. Mr. Eisenhower said, "I do not believe that any individual, whether he is running General Motors or the United States of America, can do the best job just by sitting at a desk and putting his face in a bunch of papers. Actually, the president ought to be trying to keep his mind free of inconsequential details and doing his own thinking on the basic principles and factors so that he can make clear and better judgments." And then it tells another story of, it says, a former business associate of mine takes a 72-hour out-of-town vacation with his wife once each month. He found that this backing off and starting afresh increases mental efficiency, thereby making him more valuable to his clients. Exactly. And it's right. Like, you have to rest. And we all know this. We all know that, like, we feel so much better when we do, but we're in this like go, 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 world.
Well,
and it doesn't work.
Few stories you tell yourself too, because truly the world will not fall apart if you take a day off. I don't care who you are or what you do. You aren't that damn important. You really aren't.
No, you really are not.
We'll all continue to turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you think about, any great athletes, right? Like, if they are constantly training every single day, right? They're not going to be a great athlete.
Right.
Is your muscles, like, that's when the buildup happens, is when take the time to rest. Right. And something that you had mentioned or we talked about was that, like, taking the time just to have that space to reflect and to celebrate and honor all of your wins and your progress. Mm-hmm. We tend to not do that at all. And we're just like, oh, well, I didn't do this. And you don't look at all the things that you did do. Right. And when we're focusing on all the things we didn't do, that just creates more stress, and stress creates contraction, and it doesn't allow your body to process and move things out. Right. And so your nervous system is, when it's in processing, after you've had energy work done, or any kind of, whether it's therapy, coaching, any of those kind of things, like, your nervous system is like, I need a little bit of break. I need a little time just to, like, literally process what just happened. Okay. And then, like, acclimate and integrate it into my system. So if you don't, the body, like the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the energetic body will wither away so much faster and experience dis-ease. Yeah. Okay. So there's only so many ways that we can say rest is important. Like, exactly. It just is.
That everybody's idea of that recovery time is different too. So it doesn't always mean lay in bed and sleep. Your definition of rest could be anything that provides you a break from your day to day. So if what really is restful for you is going on a 10-mile hike out in nature, that's restorative too. So I think that the idea of the rest, yes, it should be some physical rest, most likely, but it's compared to what is your day to day. So, if you're a caretaker and you've got, 5 kids you're watching all the time, maybe it's taking, getting
first off.
Yeah. Let's get somebody else to watch the kids for the day and take a bath or whatever it is for you. But, or it could be shopping. It could be whatever it is, but if it's something that nurtures you.
Yes. Yeah. And I think too, like, being in the coaching world, there's a lot of, like, the coaching world tends to be masculine driven, right? Mm-hmm. And it's driven, right? It's all just go, 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 instead of, like, honoring, hey, what it does look like rest for one person is going to be different for another. So if anybody tells you this is what it should, like, you should be doing all of these things, right? I don't let anybody shit on you. Like, what it is that your body needs to rest, and honor that, because, like Deb said, everybody is completely different. And, it may be like, for me, going on vacation and having specific things to do is, like, restful for me. If somebody said, you're just going to go sit on the beach for a week and just stare out there, I'd be like, oh, that's so stressful. Right. But if it's like, finish this book for a week and in a week, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, like I did last week, I'm like, okay, I'm going to read 50 pages each day, and then by the end, and that was so fun and enjoyable for me. Right.
That's your high key, because I would not be.
Yes.
I don't like overly planned vacations. I like a few activities, and then I like a couple of days of, I have no idea what's going to happen today, and maybe I will sit around all day on my ass, and that's going to be okay too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I'm definitely like that, but I like to have at least one thing that I could say by the end I've accomplished, say, oh, I read this book at the end of vacation, then I'm good. Like, I'm going to sit on the beach just reading, leave me alone, but yeah, like, and that's enjoyable, so everybody's enjoyable is very different, and don't let anybody shit on you about what it should be. So Yeah. So I think we covered everything. I think we covered about, why rest is important. Like I would just say this, that some things I didn't say is that, if you are, whenever a building is being built, right, the first thing that has to be done is the foundation has to be laid and things have to be drudged up, right? And then drudged up and moved out. Right. And then when the new foundation is laid, they don't just like pour concrete and then start building on it. Right. You have to pour the concrete, let the concrete set, let it completely dry, right, before you can do any kind of building on it. Right. And if we rush into like, no, I just got to like get like do like all this massive healing all at once, it may not actually like happen the way that you want it to.
Yeah.
So
you'll end up with a footprint right in the middle of your sidewalk.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So let us know what are some of your favorite ways to rest and recover after doing energy work, if you've had an experienced energy work with either of us or with anybody, and what's challenging for you about resting and processing and being okay with resting and processing. I'd love to hear that too, because that's one of the hardest parts. People think, well, I'm not doing anything, so nothing's happening, when it's like the most stuff is happening when nothing is happening.
Right.
And I'll leave off with this statement that I learned when I was doing a showcase performance prep class for Ariel, the silk stuff that I do. And my teacher saying, she's made the statement, slow is fast and fast is slow. And I was like, like, that's how it was. Now I'm like, am I saying it wrong? Slow is fast and fast is slow. Like sometimes like just taking the time, like when you do things too fast, you end up slowing it down. So just slow down to help speed up the recovery and of your body with the energy work that we've done. Anything else, Deb?
No, I like it. That's a good note to end on.
Awesome. Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, night, evening, whatever time you're watching this, and we will talk to you later. Bye.